Traders expect a bearish bias to linger this week. After that, we'll discuss data from the International Cocoa Organization as cocoa prices pull back from a $10,000 high. And later, we'll bring you updates on the pullout ceremony of the outgoing Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Exchange, Oscar Onyema, and we'll be wrapping up our conversations at the Nigerian equities markets as investors eye Tier 1 banks. You can be part of all our conversations today. Connect with us using the hashtag CBWA410. That's on the X app. In the meantime, let's get you all caught up with our top headlines from the west of the continent. Now, MTN Ghana says it has paid 5.9 billion cedis in direct and indirect taxes, alongside an additional 400 million cedis in fees, levies and other payments to government agencies. Now, these payments account for 47.1% of MTN's total revenue generated last year. The company's board chairman, Ismail Yamson, at the company's annual general meeting emphasized this as MTN Ghana's commitment to support the government's fiscal and socio-economic goals. Elsewhere, Access Holdings has reported an 86.9% growth in its gross earnings from 1.4 trillion naira to 2.6 trillion naira in 2023. In its full-year financial statement, the holding company saw a 306.9% jump in its post-tax profit to 619.3 billion naira as fair value and foreign exchange gains drove gains. Net interest income rose 82.7% to 555.8 billion naira. And finally, oil prices experienced a decline with a drop of over 1% observed today, and this was due to the increase in U.S. stockpiles and indications suggesting that OPEC Plus producer coalition is unlikely to revise its output policy during an upcoming technical meeting next week. Brent crude futures dropped 72 cents to $85.53 a barrel, while the U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude fell 63 cents to $81.03 a barrel. Those are top headlines from West Africa this hour. And for more market news and insights, please visit our website, CNBCAfrica.com. On to our first conversation. Traders at UBA say, given the outcome of the Monetary Policy Committee meeting, an overall bearish sentiment in the fixed income space is expected for the rest of the week. Chuka Nwachukwu, head ALM and balance sheet management at UBA, joins me now for more market updates. Chuka, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Esther.
Let's get right to it. I wanted to get your initial thoughts on the outcome of the MPC meeting yesterday. You and I have talked a lot about, the run-up to the outcome. What were some of the key takeaways for you?
So one of the key takeaways, obviously, the increase in the NPR, 200 basis points, from 22.75 to 24.75. That is expected, considering the inflation issue we currently have. I think one of the major key factor or the major target for the currency BN is price stability, and so you cannot have price stability without increasing NPR in order to fight inflation. And so also another significant takeaway is the increase in the CRR for merchant banks, and
right.
that also is also will also affect some of the operations as well.
I wanted to get your thoughts on the adjustment of the standing deposit facility window for banks. Now, banks are going to earn about 21.7%, but very importantly also, we know that this is also expected to have a significant impact on average treasury bill rates going forward. What kind of stop rate are we expecting to see going forward?
And so that's one of the most interesting aspects of today's auction. 161 billion will be on offer. So due to the activity, the pronouncement yesterday, we expect to see a higher rate, especially for the 1 year. The last 1 year printed at 21.12, and we expect to see around 22, upper 22, lower 23 levels, just to meet up with the current reality based on the pronouncement by CBN yesterday.
Right, we have about 2 minutes left. So just quickly bring us up to speed on trading at the bond markets and then also the FX market.
And so let me just start with the system liquidity. We've seen a great improvement in system liquidity. Today it opened at positive over 150 billion. Just this afternoon, FAC inflows came in. About 1.2 trillion was approved last week, and so that has increased system liquidity. On the bond side, I will start with the bond side. On the bond side, we've seen bearish sentiment. Of course, is expected due to the increase in the MPR, and so we've seen a bearish sentiment. A lot of traders selling off the stock, security they have, in order to to not only to create liquidity but also to ensure that they don't make too much loss. On the T-bill side, we've also seen bearish sentiment. We've seen the 1 year, for example, that's printed at 21.12, currently trading around the 20 levels. So that also is expected due to the MPC pronouncement. So we've seen traders selling off some of the securities in order to reinvest in a much higher rate.
Right, Chuka, I'm afraid we're out of time, but thank you so much for bringing us up to speed and, of course, sharing your thoughts on the MPC outcome. Many thanks for joining us today. Chuka Nwachukwu, Head ALM and Balance Sheet Management at UBA.